welcome to a new episode of the Josh Zodiac Podcast, the greatest wrestling podcast you've never heard of. This is the podcast that I know we're going to talk about AEW, but this is the podcast that is okay that Obafemi is getting Brock Lesnar in a cage versus Roman Reigns for the title. We'll talk about that in a different show.
Yeah, I won't get into that now.
No, I'm actually okay with it because he can cash that in at any time. He's got a title shot. No, he gets a title shot whenever he wants. He's earned it. He gets it. So
okay, well.
So yeah, but then again, I have other theories. This is not a WWE review show. And with that being said, I do have an announcement for all of you subscribers, or if you're new to the show, make sure you like, subscribe, follow the show, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment about where you get your podcast at. But we do have an announcement. Psycho does not know. I did this in between the last show that we did, but I am proud to announce that the Josh Zodiac Podcast is now all elite. It is now official.
After what I said last week, right?
Well, no, I was planning on doing that anyway. I made a graphic. I'll drop it on the socials. You'll probably see it before you see this video. So that being said, after watching Forbidden Door, I got it right. I didn't say Hidden Door this time, but after watching Forbidden Door, that show last week, which was the latest pay-per-view for AEW, I thought, you know what? I think we need to go back into the time machine. We need to hop into the DeLorean and go back to 2019 and review the very first AEW pay-per-view, which would be Double or Nothing. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is a review of the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view.
Which is fitting because I was planning on going back and trying to watch the original pay-per-views that I never got to see in the first place.
Yeah,
I've been waiting for them to come on streaming. Now they are. So
they are on HBO. If you want to watch them, they are on HBO Max. They do not sponsor the show. That's a free plug. But then again, they're HBO. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
AEW Double or Nothing, taking place on May 25th, 2019 from Paradise, Nevada at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Attendance, 11,000 people with a buy rate between 109,000 and 113,000. And again, things are different now for AEW. They were still doing the actual pay-per-view stuff. They now have a way they can do it where it streams. But this is pre-pandemic stuff. So I know you had talked about that there was a battle royale to decide who would go on to face the winner of the Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho match to become the very first AEW champion. I did not watch the battle royale because it was not on the card, but the Psycho Nerd did. So as bonus material, I will let him talk about that battle royale briefly, just very briefly.
Well, what's funny is that I didn't know they were doing that. Once Bret Hart came out later in the show, we'll discuss that momentarily. But when he did and they talked about it, I was like, wait, what? Battle Royal? Anyone who knows me knows I love Battle Royals and I love the Royal Rumble, at least the concept. Concept is great. And essentially with this one, it was a little bit slight different take. Essentially, you have about 5 people starting the ring, and then you had groups of people that picked a specific card, like in a deck of cards. And whenever a particular suit came up, all those people would come out, about 5 or 6 different people enter the ring at the same time.
I do like the Vegas poker theme that they do. I think it's fucking brilliant, and it's a different take on a old idea.
That's what I liked about it. And by the time, once you finish all the regular suits, you had a wild card. Who was the wild card? Adam Page, the winner of the actual Battle Royal. He was the last one to go in. He was the last one to go out. Even though the finale, MJF was the only other person left there at the end of the Battle Royal. He actually threw Adam Page over the rope. Adam Page grabs the rope, kind of keeps himself from hitting the floor. MJF thinks he wins, and, he pulls that blunder. The same thing that, the British Bulldog did.
And Shawn Michaels, yes.
Yep, he pulled the same thing. He thought he won. Nope, Adam Page is still here. Nailed him, threw him out of the ring. He ends up winning, so he gets a title shot later on down the road. So, you know what? Good battle royal. Very fun. Yeah. I like the way they brought people in. Like you said, it was something we've seen, but then a little something different. So I appreciate that. Trying to spice things up.
Idea. Yeah,
exactly. And I dig that. I really do.
And again, you'll see this, and if you've never watched AEW before, you'll see this. They definitely have a poker theme. They have All In, Double or Nothing. They have all these different shows that have a poker theme to them. And I'm as a Texas Hold'em player, I fucking love it. I think it's fucking brilliant. But we're going to jump into the first match. So we're going to, hold on, Strong Hearts, Seema, T-Hawk, and L. Lindman versus SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpion Sky. What a way to start the show, by the way. This was phenomenally good match. Your takeaways from this match?
Man, oh my God. So many great teamwork moves from the Strong Hearts and both teams in general. But the Strong Hearts, I didn't know any of these guys going in at all. So they did a very good job of, sparking my attention. I enjoyed watching their teamwork throughout the match. Very fast paced, fun going on through this match. A great way to start the show. That's the way you get the people's blood pumping.
Yep.
And you know what? And this sets the tone, as far as I'm concerned, sets the tone, not just for this show, but this being their first pay-per-view. Exactly. Sets the tone for what is to be coming forward from AEW down the road.
Sure.
So, God, this was a good match. And I was familiar with the other team, SCU, two of the guys, Christopher Daniels and Kazarian. I am familiar with both of them. I saw Christopher Daniels back in the indie stuff, back in ROH, way back when I first got introduced to it. So,
yeah, definitely was a great match. It was a fast-paced match, a lot going on, a lot of teamwork going on. Definitely. You'll see and again with a 3-on-3 match like that, you're going to see spots like that. So it's nice to see that they were doing that.
Mm-hmm.
We will move on to our first women's match in the AEW pay-per-view history. We have Nyla Rose, Kyla Ray, and we are introduced to Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Well, hold on. Hold that thought. Brandy Rhodes comes out and goes, nope, we're not done. I want this to be a great match, so I'm bringing out somebody else, and we get Awesome Kong, who has a different name that you might know her by. I forget what that name is.
Karma. Her name was Karma in WWE.
Right. Yeah. And wow. And who was it? Kyla Ray came out. She was like an extra bubbly version of Bayley.
I got Bayley vibes from her right off the bat. I'm like, is that who you're trying to be, or is that just what you went with? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. It definitely gave off those Bayley vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, another banger. And this is a women's match, then I don't think any of the women are still in the company. I think even Britt Baker's not in the company right now. I think she's on a hiatus right now. So
that's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that, but your takeaways from this match?
I thought it was interesting how they just brought in Awesome Kong at the last minute, I guess just to kind of balance things out to make it a four corners match. Nice. This was a very, again, nice introduction to the opposing, well, I can't say opposing team. I know who Nyla Rose is, and I'm definitely familiar with Dr. Britt Baker and Awesome Kong, but I didn't know anything about Kylie Ray. So not a bad performance on her part. A couple different things about the match that took place. There was a dive by Ray at one point onto both Kong and Baker. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Ugly Samoan drop by Nia at one point. Good. She didn't just lay back. He jumped and then hit the mat. It was like,
yeah.
And I'm not. This is not a negative, but as big as she is, it's like that had to hurt.
Yeah,
so bad.
That looked absolutely horrible.
But the biggest bump or the biggest showcase in this one was the double power bomb by Kong combined with a double superplex by Rose on the corner. It was like, even my son was in the room when I was watching that match initially, and he saw that and he was like, "Good God!" And I was like, "Yeah, that's
not
right,
a wrestling
sir."
fan either. So
no, he's not.
See, and the thing about that spot is you don't see that spot with the women's side of any promotion, really. You don't see spots like that. You'll see a superplex every now and again, but you don't see four women coming off that turnbuckle onto the ring. You don't see it. And it's comforting to see that level of competition from the female side of it. So it was definitely refreshing. Britt Baker, I don't know if I said this in the previous match, but SoCal Uncensored, they got the win. Dr. Britt Baker, she gets the win. Again, and this is just like Forbidden Door, just another banger of a match. It was great. It was nonstop. And if I'd watched this before I watched Forbidden Door, this probably would have gotten me in the door. But the fact that I had a group of people that I gave some love to on the last episode, and I'm going to give them love again today, and some of them have subscribed to the channel, so I want to say thanks, guys. I appreciate the love. We do appreciate it. Give us that feedback. We want to know. If it wasn't for them, I would not be watching AEW. We would not be doing this particular recording right now. But again, if you'd watched WWE, WWF all your life and then jumped into AEW, it definitely, and for you hadn't watched it, you said that the wrestling fan in you that had been laying dormant for a while had come back. And,
he's back in full force when it comes to AEW.
I'm all for that. So We're going to move on to the next match. We have Angelico and Jack Evans versus best friends Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta. Chuck Taylor. Why does that name sound familiar to me? Was that Chuck and Billy maybe? Or is that a different person?
No, you're thinking of Chuck.
Okay. I thought it was that Chuck. Okay, my bad.
Nah.
I thought it was.
Nah.
Well, Chuck Taylors are a type of shoe that you can buy, the Converse, the All-Stars, but that's not the same thing. Takeaways.
I do enjoy this. I do remember the best friends, how they like to hug. They don't shake hands. They like to hug. So that was nice to see these guys again after all this time. Nice performance from Jack Evans and Helico, I believe they pronounced his name.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, a couple things that stood out. Nice teamwork, 450 spin. That was really a lot of fun. Tornado DDT with power at one point in the match. I don't remember who did it. I'm just getting back into this for the record, people.
Yeah.
I haven't learned all the names yet, but I will get there. I promise I will eventually get back up to speed.
We will get there, ladies and gentlemen. We will get there. It'll take time. It'll take a couple of PLEs under our belt before we get there. So don't berate us yet. Give us time. We'll get there.
Yeah. There was a crucifixion at one point into a cutter. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, that
teamwork that happened. And as far as the finish is concerned, jumping clothesline, hitting the opponent off of one of the partner's shoulders. Shades of the LOD. Classic teamwork. Loved it. Gotta love that shit. Any nod to the LOD is a good one in my book.
As far as I'm concerned, the right team won. Best friends. They win. They embrace. They have their moment. Everything is great. Another banger, and I'm noticing a trend here. And I saw this for Forbidden Door. The PLE before that I watched, and I forget which one it was. I don't remember what it was. I really
sure it wasn't All or Nothing as well, or no?
Might have been All or Nothing. I don't know. I don't remember. I just know that the Forbidden Door was the second pay-per-view I'd watched live. The one that was the month prior, I'd watched that one. I didn't review it because I hadn't made up my mind about where the direction of the show was going to go. And I think that's pretty much what pushed me in that direction. I go, you know what? We should talk about AEW. Because if we're going to be a wrestling podcast, we should embrace
we should embrace everything.
And like Palpatine says, in order to, you should have a knowledge of everything, even the dim-witted side of WWE. So yeah, we should totally embrace all sides. We are nerds here too, so that's fine.
So you're saying WWE is the wrestling equivalent of the Jedi versus the Sith?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
All right. Just so we're clear.
Moving on, the next match, we have Aha Kong, Emi Sakura. And again, I'm going to butcher these names, so I will apologize now. I did in the last show. I'm doing it again. Aha Kong, Emi Sakura, and Yuka Sakazaki. Yeah, that sounds right. Versus Ryo, or it's RYO, so Yo, Mizunami, and Hikaru Shida. Not horrible for never reading them before. Again, fucking match. Fucking banger match.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
All the women get their moment in the ring early on, but Ryo, she actually gets isolated away from her team for a bit, spends a pretty decent amount of time in the ring with the other team. They do get a lot of different tags going on. They really put her through the ringer. And I'll tell you what, my first impression of Ryo when I saw her years ago, she had a match against Nyla Rose. And I remember watching this thinking, this is going to be like a 1.5-minute squash match. Forget it. It was longer than that. And you know what? And I was impressed by her work, especially against somebody who was, her stature and whatnot. And I remember thinking to myself, you know what? If this had been WWE, that's why I thought it was going to be a squash match. Because in WWE, that's exactly what it would have been. But no, in this situation, she fucking held her own the entire match, and she does so here as well. I'm very impressed with this girl's work, and I look forward to seeing more from her. And now that we're getting back in the swing, this again, a lot of fun going on, a lot of good tag teaming. At one point, I couldn't help but notice at one point, I think, who was it that had the trash can that was trying to use it in the match, and then Sheeta brought in the kendo stick and they started fighting with it.
Yeah.
How did the referee not hear all the commotion? She was busy dealing with something else on the outside, and I'm like, how do you not hear the clank, clank, clank? It's like, come on, man, you gotta take the referee's stupidity with a grain of salt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
But at the end of the day, Ryo, Mizunami, and Hikaru Shida, they end up with the win. Again, another banger, and when you're who was I forget somebody in that group, I think his name is Daniel. He made a very good point, and I didn't agree with what he said, and I thought about it later, and I later apologized to him because I felt bad. It was the whole, if I don't like the product, I don't like the product. Like, if you don't fucking like it, don't fucking watch it. But it was the way I said it, because I know you have said when it comes to WWE, you're like, I'm just not going to fucking watch it. I'll watch Simon Miller. I'll get that good feeling of a tum-tum, I'll do the finger of power and do all that shit. But you were just like, I'm just not going to fucking watch it. I'm just going to watch other YouTubers do their thing. And that way I at least know the story. And that's what I was trying to tell them, but it came off wrong. And I later apologized. And this is a good example of that, because again, like you said, we've been so programmed with the way WWE does what they do. We watch another promotion. We don't want to nitpick, but we do, because we're accustomed to the way things are that way, and they should.
And I apologize to AEW for falling off for as long as I did and underestimating them for being away for so long. So AEW, please forgive me. Dude, I've seen the error of my ways. Please forgive me. Please.
No,
but not really.
But like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're not no.
Hey, it's like, I am officially back as a fan. So there you go.
But here's the thing though, too, as we take a pause from the show, it's not uncommon, at least for me, to take breaks from professional wressling. Take a break. Just don't watch it. Just don't watch it. And then come back. Oh, the pipe bomb happened. Let me see what's going on now. That's a real life example. You're not going to watch it consistently all the time, and that's fine. It doesn't make you any less of a fan. It really doesn't. But when you shit on a promotion, and I was guilty of this, shitting on a promotion you never watched before, and then watching it going, it's really not that bad. You eat the crow, you know what I mean? Which I'm okay to eat the crow. I'm okay with it, because at the end of the day, sometimes you need that push to get you back into something. And like you, it's kind of revitalized my love for the sport, for professional wrestling. And I don't like that they call them superstars. I've never liked that. They're professional wrestlers, but it is what it is.
Well, that's the difference between both companies. WWE is sports entertainment. AEW is more pro wrestling, and that's where my love comes from.
Yeah, so that's fact right there. But we will move on. We have brother versus brother. We have Dustin Rhodes, formerly known as Gold Dust, coming out as Cody Rhodes. He's not the American Nightmare yet. He's just he's not Stardust.
No, but he definitely imitates it.
Cody Rhodes coming out with his wife, who is smoking hot, Brandy Rhodes. Now, before we talk about the match,
I know what you're going to bring up.
I want to talk about the elephant in the room.
Go ahead.
He comes out. There is a throne that looked awful lot like a throne that a certain cerebral assassin used to sit on, a king of kings, as you may say. And I remember seeing the clip, but I'd never seen it live before. I just saw clips there. And I know later on Triple H and Cody had addressed it, and it is what it is. But Cody goes to the ring, Brandy goes to the ring, she pulls out when she pulled out the sledgehammer, I went, no, that's how it starts. The weapon of choice for Triple H was always a sledgehammer.
Always, yeah.
So he grabs a sledgehammer, he goes back where that freaking throne is, bam, it explodes. And I'm sitting there thinking, they're not taking a shot at Triple H. They're letting them know that there's a new king in town, and they are not wrong. Because again, WWE, after what I've seen the past couple of weeks, WWE is not the pinnacle anymore. It's not. It's slowly becoming number 2. They need to change their ways. TKO needs to get their hand out of the cookie jar, let the people that have been doing wrestling for as long as they have, and I'm talking about people like Hunter, I'm talking about people like Michael PSA's fucking Road Dogg, who went to TNA and is part of their creative now. Let them do their job. You pay them to do it, but yet you want to be sitting there the puppet master and shit. No, it doesn't work that way. If you don't know the product, fucking walk away. That's why I can't get into it anymore, because it's like, well, you're just doing what you want to do, not what the fans want, and you're pissing people 100%. Off. You know how many times I go on freaking YouTube or social media and I'm seeing people just pissing and moaning about WWE, about how much it angers them from week in to week out. It's like, this is why I don't watch the weekly shows anymore, because I don't need that kind of toxicity in my life anymore. I don't need it. That's a big word. I couldn't even say the fucking word. At the end of the day, though, they've become predictable. They're not taking risks anymore. They're not taking risks. They're just, I'm sorry, if you want to put the title on Sami Zayn, I'm all for it. I was all for Jinder Mahal being champion. You know what? Let's see what happens with this. Let's see where it goes. If it doesn't work, that's fine. We can take the title off and move forward.
That's what they did with
Jey Uso. Jey Uso was hyped. He got the title, didn't do much with it. They dropped it back to Gunther. But then again, that's a whole nother argument. Because I'm sorry, Gunther would not tap out to a fucking sleeper hold. With
not that quickly either.
As strong as that character is supposed to be, I don't see that actually happening. That was just poor booking it. But
yeah,
again, we're talking about AEW. We keep getting off course.
Yeah, well, you are, but I'm just catering to it.
And Cody and Dustin were both in WWE, so of course we will talk about that.
This is very true.
This was a bloodbath of a match. A lot of blood was spilled, and what makes it more, I guess, dramatic is that it's brother versus brother. Exactly. Older brother versus younger brother. The quote-unquote accident child in Cody, who was never supposed to be there, but showed up. Dustin was already out doing his own thing when Cody showed up.
Yeah. I even mentioned that the two brothers that never grew up with each other.
Yes.
I looked it up, and I didn't really know the full history. I still don't know all of it, but that's very true. They did not grow up together, so they didn't have that camaraderie, relationship that some brothers have, as you grow older. This was a very well told story from start to finish.
It was.
Very much. A couple of highlights on the match. I thought it was funny how Brandy actually hits Dustin with a bottle of water and interferes a couple of different times and gets herself ejected because it's like, man, come on, okay. This is the only interference.
Wasn't Earl Hebner the freaking ref for that match?
I believe it was, yes.
Earl Hebner. God damn.
And you know what? We even get a quick little cameo because as he's trying to tell her to leave, she won't leave. Finally, DDP comes out, coming out of nowhere, and actually carries her away from ringside. I'm like, hey, DDP. Yeah.
And Earl Hebner even does the whole exaggerated toss. He's like, that. And I'm like, okay. All right. The first ejection in AEW was Brandy Rhodes.
Yeah, the first show. But yeah, like you said, bloodbath. Dustin is busted open so far into the match, and Cody takes control. Good Lord, man, the blood was just pouring out of his head like a faucet. Yeah. It was freaking me out.
Yeah,
it happens throughout the entire match. After so many minutes of this, you see close-ups. It's still coming out.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's like, how did you finish that match, bro? For real.
Just shows how tough he really is and how underutilized he was in other promotions.
I will agree with that.
Cody comes away with the win, but my takeaway is the after. Cody grabs the microphone, cuts a quick little promo. You know what? On the calendar, I circled All In. It's me with a partner of my choosing. So with that being said, I don't need a partner. I don't need a best friend. I need my brother. And I'm sorry if you didn't get just a little like, oh my God, it hits you in the fucking heartstrings every time. If that didn't hit
not to.
Yeah, I was like, dude, this is, and then they embrace, of course. And I think this is right after Dusty died too. It was like not long after.
Yeah, sometime right after.
So there was definitely a lot of emotion behind that match, more than we saw. Again, another banger of a match. It's definitely a match I would love to watch again because it was such a great match.
Yeah, it wasn't a fast-paced match, but that didn't matter. It was more about the story and what was being told and what they were doing throughout the entire match. So that's what really sold this one for me. And the fact that Cody got choked up at the end of his speech before they embraced, even the commentators, even JR's like, I'm not crying. I got something in my eye. And you see, what's the guy with the mask? He's got his mask up and he's like wiping his eyes. I'm like, you know what? It's okay to admit that, it was an emotional moment.
Then, Cody has broken down before when cutting a promo. So he's a very emotional guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not making fun of it at all. It happens. Sometimes you just get overwhelmed. You're like, oh, shit, hang on. Time out. I need a moment. This next match, I will argue, match of the night for the AAA World Tag Champions, which is ironic because AAA is now owned by
Yeah, I couldn't help but think about that the whole time. A lot happens in 7 years.
But we get my first real tag team match introduction to the Young Bucks, who had never seen wrestle before, but just them. I've seen them in triple, 3-on-3s, but never just the two of them.
Okay.
Versus the Lucha Brothers, Penta and Rey Fenix Jr. Okay, I'm going to say this, and this is, I'm hoping this might not be the last time I say this about WWE. We are getting a watered down version of Penta. We are getting
Rey Fenix.
And Rey Fenix, we've forgotten about him.
Yep.
They need to put them back together as as lackluster as the tag team division is in WWE right now. They could relight that fire.
Yep.
Put them together. Let them do what they do. Let them fucking, I'm sorry, any man that can make Chelsea Green look like $1 million in a singles match, why are we not using him properly? That's my question. Why? These two men are, and they're real life brothers, and they love what they do. They're both luchas. They both, they love what they do. And I'm like, and at this time they were 29 and 34. So Penta is in his 40s now. He's not getting any younger.
Look at DDP. He started out wrestling when he was in his 40s already, or late 30s, whichever one it was.
So what I'm saying is that give us the version of these two men that we deserve. Why Penta and Ray went to WWE, I will never know. Maybe it was the paycheck. Maybe it was brought. They wanted to see if the grass is greener on the other side.
Perhaps.
I don't know. But that being said, I argue match of the night contender, because this match, you see the chemistry with these two teams. Now, I don't know if the Young Bucks are related. They look a lot alike, but I don't think they are related, to my knowledge.
I will look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the chemistry that they have, it reminded me of Team Extreme, Jeff and Matt.
Oh, just nice reference.
But again, Jeff and Matt are brothers. So, of course, they both have a love for the sport. They both wanted to become professional wrestlers. So, I don't think they're brothers. So you don't have to look it up. They have different last names as far as
okay. Well, that's fine.
They look a lot alike.
No, wait. No, they are brothers. They are. It says really? They are real life brothers. Yeah.
Oh, well, then it makes sense.
That's what again,
with Penta and Ray Phoenix Jr., it makes sense. They both have great chemistry together. They've probably been practicing how to do this stuff since they were kids. But I'm pretty sure none of their brothers dropped them in a Scorpion Death Drop on a hardwood floor. Yeah, I'm going to go there.
Okay, it was a carpet. Okay, I'm going to clear the air on this because you talked about this in your early podcast. I'm going to clear this. It was an accident. I didn't do it I wasn't trying to give you the Scorpion Death Drop. I had you in the, what the hell is that submission hold? The, what the fuck is it called? It's the same idea. Dragon Sleeper, thank you. That's what I had you in, but then, you're taller than I am, and I lost my footing, and when I dropped you, it was a complete fucking accident. That's why I freaked the fuck out afterwards.
Yeah,
I wasn't trying to do
for
that.
a long time after
for like 5 minutes, he didn't move a goddamn muscle. I literally thought I killed him. I wasn't scared for my life. I was scared of mom and dad killing me afterwards.
Yeah, and then sending your ass to jail. But
yeah,
we
that did not happen.
We digress. Your thoughts on this match?
I agree. Contender for best of the night. Fast paced, awesome. Love it. I love the chemistry between these two teams, not just with the brothers individually, but just together. These teams have some of the best chemistry I think I've ever seen. A lot of good moves throughout the match. I gotta love a double sharpshooter at one point. Gotta enjoy that.
Yeah,
I love the sharpshooter.
Love yeah,
dude, a brainbuster off the top rope onto the turnbuckle? I have never seen that before. Holy crap, that is crazy. So many times throughout the match, you think that it's going to be over, that it should be over, but it's not. So many times where you got the team taking out one person, then the other member takes out the other member to get the pin, but it doesn't happen. So many times. It's a lot of fun. And honestly, I love the way the Young Bucks win with the teamwork finish.
Yeah.
One of them, I forget, again, haven't learned their names yet, but one of them had him up for like a pile driver, but he only had one arm. The other arm, he couldn't really use.
That's right. He was selling the injury. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, good job with that, by the way, because it.
Oh, agree.
It works.
Again, I'll say it again. Contender for match of the night. This pretty much restored my faith in the tag team division. And again, this is 7 years ago. 7 years ago.
Almost
7 years ago. And it was just a fire match. And again, it comes down to, okay, how do you top that? Because we've seen plenty of times in other promotions where the real main event happens before the main event. So that being said, we move on. Young Bucks pick up the win. They retain their AAA tag titles. We move on to our main event. The winner of this match will challenge Hangman Adam Page at All In. I think it was All In. It was
it's going to be I think it's Fighter Fest that takes place later on. Don't quote me on that. I didn't do the complete research on it, but yeah, it's going to be in the very near future after this.
But they get a title shot against whoever wins this match. And we have Kenny Omega versus the man who we get the many versions of Jericho when he comes out. We get the Attitude Era. We get the List of Jericho. We get the sparkly jacket. We get all that. And it proves what I've been saying for a very long time. The reason that Jericho's longevity is there is because he reinvents himself every couple of years. He goes from long hair to short hair. He goes from short hair to frosted tips. You know, he does all this different shit that just El Champion is another one that he did in AEW. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for him to come out to, the song is called Judas, I believe.
Judas. I love that song.
I had not heard that song in a very long time, and it was refreshing to hear it again. I'm like, wow, I totally forgot. This is before the crowd really got in. And I will go back to Cody Rhodes because he's had that theme song, Kingdom, for a very long time.
Apparently,
and this is before the whole, wow. It was before all that.
I know. It was weird not to hear it.
I was watching him, is he going to do it? And he hadn't done it yet. So it's nice to see that these things have evolved over time. They weren't just out the gate. And I mean, I saw Kenny Omega wrestle on the Forbidden Door show, but I never seen him in like the first show. And I don't know a lot about Kenny Omega. I do know he was a big star in New Japan. There was talk there a while that he was going to go to WWE, but he wanted to have creative control over his character. They would not let him do that. AEW was like, we will give you that. And he went to AEW. Smart decision on his, I'm sorry. If you don't have creative control, at least over certain things, you don't want people making you look like a little bitch. You know,
I agree.
If you've established yourself somewhere else as a badass and you come over here and you're not, it definitely fucks with your reputation a little bit. But again,
it pisses off the fans too. So.
It really does, especially the hardcore fans. And again, AEW fans, I believe, and I haven't said this yet, I'm going to say it now. I think AEW fans are the truest fans of wrestling because they may not like WWE. Some of them will shit on it, and that's fine. It is what it is. But they know who these people are. They know that they're from New Japan or from Stardom or from ROH or from wherever they come. They know who they are. They live, breathe, and shit fucking wrestling. And I love those kind of fans. Those are devoted fans. Those are the truest fans you'll ever find in not just wrestling, but in, the nerd culture, in sports. They're not there to talk shit. They're there to have fun. They leave the toxic attitude at home.
As it should be.
I get off topic again, but again, this is Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. How often are you going to see that?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll take a little bit more comment on what you said about Jericho. I'll take it a step further. I've been a fan of this man for the better part of almost 32 years now.
Since WCW.
1996, when I first started watching during the genesis of the NWO days and whatnot, going from the rocker character that he was to his entrance in WWE in 1999, having a tag team with the Big Show, having the short spiky hair that you talked about, to the list, to this. I have always been a Chris Jericho fan, always been a big fan, and it still hurts me and it pains me immensely that I just did not have the balls to say anything to him when I met him almost 2 years ago at Fantastic Fest. And I just, I was in this is the first day of the festival before Terrifier 3 was going to premiere, right? He was in the movie. He was there to help promote it. But I'm in the bathroom. I've done my business. I'm washing my hands and I have great peripheral vision. I see this guy walk in. And I just kind of look over and I was like, that was my reaction. Like, oh my God, it's fucking Chris Jericho. Oh my God. I'm thinking this in my head. Like, what do you say? What do you do? What do you do? What do you say? I couldn't think of anything because it's like, we're in the bathroom. How do you approach somebody that you're a huge fan of? You have this utmost I don't know. I couldn't think of anything.
I know this is Monday Morning Quarterback, but you could have said, hey, Jericho, you're at Fantastic Fest. Guess what? You just made the list.
I had a few different ideas, like in that moment, like, oh, maybe I played Judas on my phone real subtly or something. Yeah. I thought that would have been a funny thing, like just to gauge his reaction, you know what I mean? But I was scared of pissing him off because I was like, I don't want to be that guy to rub someone the wrong way. But it's just like, I'm such a big fan. It's like that day we met William Regal when we set up the ring in Corpus.
Fuck yeah.
It was just like that day I had the balls to do it, but with Jericho, I fucking froze.
Well, to be fair, though, you're comparing William Regal to Chris Jericho.
Only in terms of having respect for them, not so much their in-ring abilities, but
I think the bigger the star, the harder it is to approach. I really do. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But again, you have a habit of meeting fucking celebrities in the bathroom because you met Corey Feldman in the bathroom too. So maybe this year you'll meet fucking John Cena or some bullshit. We don't know. That's if you can see him though.
I know, right? Because you just can't do it.
Anyway, we went off topic.
Anyway, yeah, we got off topic, but getting back on the match.
Jericho, what are your takeaways from this match?
Dude, great main event. A lot of fun bits throughout the match. These two do have good chemistry together. I do like the chop fest early on by Omega, and we still get more and more chops as the match goes on. Gotta appreciate that. Omega's nose, at some point, I don't know which spot it was, but he actually broke his nose at some point during the match, but it doesn't slow him down at all. And I have mad respect for that you do something like that, you don't skip a beat. You just keep on going. You know what I mean? So that was awesome. I love the massive back superplex by Omega off the top rope. You don't see that too often, but that was beautiful.
No, you really don't.
Usually you see superplexes, not so much a back suplex. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that. Beautiful backdrop by Jericho at one point, throwing Omega over the top rope, and he landed on a table that had been set up at some point earlier in the match.
Yeah.
Thank God that table was there as well. But you know what? To Jericho's credit, it took a DDT, a code breaker, and a Judas effect to finally put Omega down, because as the match is getting closer to the end, it's those kind of moments where it's like, nobody's getting a pin. Who's going to win? Unfortunately, I already knew going in who was going to win, because I know who the first AEW champion is, but you know what? That did not tarnish my enjoyment of this match.
Nope.
One single solitary iota.
And that's the difference, really. That's the sign of a good anything. Like I have in my DVD collection, the few DVDs that I do have, I have the 2006 NCAA the football national championship title game between USC and University of Texas. I know who wins the game, but every time I watch it, which is not that often, but when I watch it, it's like, am I sure they won this game? Because it definitely rattles you. That's how good of a fucking game it was. So yeah, I know that's a whole different spectrum, but yeah, I know who won the title, but I'm sitting there going, are they sure? Was there a stipulation that I didn't know about that maybe Omega won it or something? No, he fucking won, and he won it outright. We didn't see any real interruptions in this show. There was no outside interference, which
outside of Randy Rhodes, that was it.
But she didn't really, she threw a water bottle. She didn't.
No, she scooped him up and slammed him, kind of shades of Jacqueline back in the old WCW days before she went to WWF. But it was minor. It was minor, and I greatly appreciate it. It
wasn't a chair shot or something like, or you put them through a table or some bullshit. It was just, I'm going to body slam you. Oh, I got caught. I got to go to the back. DDP's here. I'll just ride it in the sunset.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that there was no real promo. And again, I'm starting to see this trend here. They had a couple of backstage segments, but for the most part, there was no promos. There was no video packages. They just jump into the match. I appreciate that, because guess what? That gives you more matches. And I hadn't thought about that until recently. I'm like,
that's what I said at Forbidden Door when we talked about that. The fact that there was no gas between matches.
If there's 35 minutes of video packages and backstage shit, that's another 2 matches you can throw on the card that maybe need to be told. So WWE shooting themselves in the foot. This was a great fucking show. Not one match. I'm looking at the match card right now that I wrote down. Not one shitty match on this card. They were all
a single one.
This is the beginning of a new era. I don't know why I said that. This is the beginning of a new era for professional wrestling, not just for AEW, because now at this point, people had a choice. I can watch this or I can watch both. Nothing is going to stop me from watching both. Great fucking show from start to finish. I do like the throne being destroyed. That's a nice little touch, a nice little, fuck you to Triple H, even though it probably wasn't meant that way, but that's how it was perceived. So with that being said, this here at the Josh Zodiac Podcast, unlike the Real Movie Critics show, we do 1 through 5 out of certain things that are from that movie. But here we give letter grades. So Psycho Nerd, letter grade for AEW, all or Double or Nothing. First go around.
I'm going to go straight A+. I can't think of a single thing, not a goddamn thing about this show to complain about. Not one. Even the all the matches were great. Even a match that you can't consider to be like a super banger, fast-paced match, they were still good for what they were. They did what they were supposed to do. They did their job. Talking about the Cody and Dustin match.
Yeah.
Told a great story. So you know what? A+ all across the board.
And see, and that's the thing too. you can have a great match with a great story and not have promos go back and forth. Granted, that was a brother and brother. That's one thing, but you can have a great match and not have them just cut promos at each other or have them interact the way that WWE likes to do. Sometimes you can just have a great. I hate going back to this, but this is another example at WrestleMania, the Gunther Seth Rollins match, which was thrown together last minute, and it was one of the best matches on the card that night. It had little build-up. It made no fucking sense for them to do what they did, but they did it, and it was fucking phenomenal. That formula works. Fucking use it more. 100%.
And besides, if you're a wrestling fan, you probably know the history of these two guys to begin with.
It's true.
They've been around since the fucking 90s, for crying out loud. At least Dustin was. I don't know when Cody started, but I'm not talking about WWE. I'm talking about his wrestling career in general. I know he was around before that.
I know you mean.
But yeah, they've been around for quite some time. So if you probably know the story anyway. So there you go. Even if you don't, the commentators are filling you in the whole time. JR is one of the best storytellers of all time. Let's talk about that for a second. I am happy that I get to hear JR again. I miss JR so much.
Good old JR. I love JR.
Good old JR. Good old slobber knocker.
He's tougher than a $2 steak.
I missed it.
Shit. Before I give my grade, I just thought of something, and we could totally do this, and I didn't think about this.
What?
We do 1 out of 5, whatever pertains to the movie. We could do 1 out of 5 title belts. I just thought of that right now. 1 out of 5 title belts. So we can talk about that later on off the air. But here we go. And again, on the other podcast, The Real Movie Critics, I have a habit of bringing the score down. I always have, always will. I didn't do it this week, thankfully. So again, he gives it an A+. I am going to do something I've never done before, and I am going to actually help the grade by giving it an A++.
Is that allowed?
I can do what I want. It's my show.
It's your show. Okay.
My show. I can do what I want.
My show, bitch. I can do whatever the hell I want. Shut up.
At the end of the day, this was a phenomenal show. This is a great starting point, and this sets the bar really high. It really does. So it's like, okay, we don't just set the bar, we are the bar. Yeah, but you get what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
This was a phenomenal show. Not one shit match on the card. Nothing crazy. We didn't talk about Bret Hart. Let's talk about that.
I was going to say, we didn't touch on that, but yes, you know what?
We did not talk about Bret Hart. Let's talk about that very, very briefly. And if I'm not mistaken, they were doing the unveiling of the AEW belt, which, by the way, fucking beautiful fucking belt.
It's a nice belt, dude.
I can admire AEW because their belts are all different. They don't all look the fucking same. There's some originality going on in those belts.
Call it like it is.
Yeah. But we get MJF coming out. Doing what MJF does, just talking shit. Fuck you, and you're an old man.
He even tries to be a dick by tricking Bret Hart into thinking that a fan's about to attack him, like what happened at the induction ceremony previously. Yeah, he goes, "Oh, there's a fan coming." I'm like, "You bastard!" What's wrong with
dick move, man?
But it's funny. It's a dick move, but it's kind of funny at the same time because MJF is a real bastard, but he's so good at it. He is so good at being the biggest bastard in the company. But
we get the unveiling of the. Do they call it the Triple B? Is that what they call it, or is it they have a different name for it?
For
the
what?
AEW belt. I've heard MJF called the Triple B, but I don't know if that's a different design of that particular belt. Either way, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Hangman Page is in the ring. He's waiting for the winner of the Kenny Omega Chris Jericho match. Of course, MJF comes out and does what he does. Jungle Boy comes out. I forget who else came out because I didn't write notes on it.
Let's see. It was Jungle Boy, and then God, who the hell? You know what? I didn't even write it down on this one. That's shame on me. Shame on me. But
the point I bring that up because I can't think of anybody better to unveil that belt than Bret Hart. That would actually have done it. And again, it's a beautiful fucking belt. Definitely, it's not the big gold. It's not the WCW big gold, which is a beautiful belt itself. But
it's still great to look at.
I would love to have one. It would be beautiful to put in the collection with the other belt that I have. But that being said, that will conclude our review of AEW's Double or Nothing from 2019. We hope if you agree with our grade, if you disagree, and if you disagree, I want to know why, because this show, to quote the to quote, what's the bad guy from The Boys? Not Highlander, but
you'd know more than I would.
I haven't watched the last season yet, but
okay.
It was perfect down to the very last detail.
I've seen that meme before. Okay.
That's my thing, though, is that if you disagree with our grades, I want to know why in the comments. So just make sure you like, subscribe, follow, hit the bell notification. We do new content on the channel every fucking week. That being said, Psycho Nerd, promote your shit.
All right. Well, over on my channel, Repeat Movie Viewer, I just dropped a few new videos. Pete's house for the Jackass marathon has dropped. It's a little clunky, some audio problems, but you know what? It took a long time to get through it, so I just took it for what it was. And I apologize for being as long as it was. It happens. But I'm still learning as I go. I'm still very fresh about all this. I've only had my channel for about a year. And I also, the Sony not doing physical media anymore. I filmed something this morning and put it on there. Just do like a random rant, just displaying all of my thoughts about the whole thing. Please feel free to check that out. It's a little bit, it's like 30 minutes, but you know what? I sit there, repeat myself the whole time. I just got everything I wanted to say out of it. So
yeah.
So please feel free to check that out. And new Pete's house is going to be coming the way. Oh yeah, I already have an idea for that.
Well, he already announced it on the Real Movie Critics. So if you want to know what that is, you want to check out the Real Movie Critics on the same channel. Is he about to give us a little sneak peek? Groovy.
You found me beautiful once, honey. You got real ugly.
The links to his stuff will be down below in the description. Again, the Real Zodiac, the Real Zodiac Productions, the 2 podcasts we do, the Real Movie Critics, the real reviews by real fans, and of course this one, the Josh Zodiac Podcast, where we'll be reviewing old and new pay-per-views from WWE. If we can do TNA, we'll do it. It's just a matter of getting access to it. AEW and NXT as well. And again, we put new content out every week. I thought about taking a break for this weekend. I'm like, no, this is the best time to do it. We're knocking out on Friday. That way I can enjoy the weekend. Go out and have some hot dogs, drink a couple beers, watch some fireworks, the whole 4th of July thing. So for the Psycho Nerd, I am the Josh Zodiac, and that will be the final bell for this episode. We broke down the matches, called out the surprises, and probably cut a few promos along the way. Whether you agree or disagree with our takes or think we've just turned heel, let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and share the podcast with your fellow members of the IWC. Until next time, keep your shoulders on the mat, your finishers protected, and always remember that on this podcast, the conversation never taps out. We will catch you on the next episode. Have a happy 4th of July, everybody. Lights go down, the tension's rising high.